All right, so thank you everyone for coming today. On behalf of the Fall River Historical Society, I would like to thank Sharon and Cliff for their donation of the painting of Mr. James O'Brien. Reading up on James, he's really a fascinating person in Fall River's history. He was a child of Irish immigrants born in Fall River and really worked his way up to being the district attorney of Bristol County, as well as being a lawyer for sort of the Irish American neighborhood. When James joined the Suffolk Law School, he graduated from their first class. He actually worked 3 jobs to put himself through schooling. And when he was 17, he joined the U.S. Navy. He would end up fighting in the Spanish-American War, later being honorably discharged, and then go on to law school. From there, he will pass the bar exam in 1911, and he will begin working as a lawyer in Fall River. He also did a lot of pro bono work for the veterans in the city. If they needed help with their pensions or anything like that, he agreed to work with them. And Mr. O'Brien was an incredibly successful lawyer throughout Fall River. He was noted as one of the best, and he will later on go and run for district attorney, which he will win in 1922. He will also join the Democratic Party, and he will later try to run for mayor. But he was really sort of this extraordinary man who sort of rose from nothing, provided for his family, and though he unfortunately died fairly young in his 40s, certainly left a lasting legacy on Fall River's history. And so we are incredibly happy for the Ross family to donate James' portrait to us. And Sharon, if you want to say a few words about your grandfather?
Well, I didn't realize you know all the history that you're talking about, but I guess you've been reading all this stuff we've been sending, right? Well, we didn't know what to do with him when no one showed interest, but my husband mentioned it. We were going to give it to a grandson, but no, a nephew, who actually looks a little bit like him. But then I thought, when he gets to be our age, what's going to happen? He's going to go into the closet and never seen again. So then he came up with this idea, and it proves to be a very good idea, I think, because other people can enjoy him. He's back where he was first born and was popular, and relatives can come visit. It was the perfect placement for him. So we're very happy to have done it, really. So.
Thank you.
I don't know if you want to say a couple words, Carl?
I'll certainly say a couple of words. First, I want to thank Carol Arbin and the Fall River Historical Society for doing this. It obviously preserves a great piece of Fall River history for someone who's really been forgotten over the years. This happens with many great men. In doing research on my great-grandfather, I found so many great, political and leaders, physicians, mill owners, people that really helped develop this city. It's an incredible history. So certainly happy. My cousin Sharon, she did, and her and her husband Cliff did a lot of work. They restored this picture. It had been damaged, and you can see what great shape it's in. But he is really a remarkable person. He's someone who did, as Carolyn said, he took 3 jobs to go through law school. He was already married and had already been in the Spanish-American War and the Philippine insurrection. And at 29, which is later on, he decides he's going to make something better of himself, and he wants to give back. And as Carolyn said, pro bono work with the veterans. Really probably one of the first veterans lawyers to do that type of work, and it really kind of permeated the rest of our family. We've had a lot of families that have been in the type of industries, nonprofits and help industries and education, and trying to give back, and you realize how much of a role your history plays in your present and in your future. So,
can I make one correction on what she said? He was supposed to be 17, but he lied about his age. And he went in when he was 15 under a different name because he borrowed somebody else's birth certificate to do that. So when we tried to find out his history in the Navy, we couldn't do it because they had him under a different name. Well, we kept writing letters and finally we found that information and we have it too, of the name he went in under.
Yeah,
And
That's a
then
great story.
probably, yeah,
This
I know,
picture,
and
I'm
you
pretty
find
sure-
out things about people that you think,
Yeah.
my God, that was clever, wasn't it? He wanted to get out of the house and he did it
This
the best way
this-
he could, so,
this portrait, I believe, is painted when he was in Italy, so it probably
Yeah.
was when he was in
right.
the war. It's a young picture, and
And he
course,
went
he
in the Navy 5 times is what I was told though. He joined 5 different times at different times. He had 6 children too. And, you know, going in the Navy and being separated from the rest of the family so much when she's managing all these children and everything, it was kind of, took a lot of planning and, you know, money too.
Yeah.
So, sorry, but
That's okay.
I thought about that when you were saying it. I thought, I gotta tell him that.
But that's all in, you know,
Yes.
history matters, so
Mhm.
I know,
Yes.
those little
Part of
things
the-
really,
background.
Mhm.
you have to. laugh
Fortunate
about
that you
them.
have it and you can pass it on to us.
Yes.
You know, that will
Yes.
help us.
Oh, I think we had already, but maybe we'll check it out before we go, so.
well, Sharon's done incredible work, and Sharon and Donna Massey over here are actually grandchildren of James, and his parents were the children. There's a great picture in the Fall River Globe of when he was running for mayor with all his children. His youngest, Donald, hadn't been born yet. You can see the real family nature, and then came across another picture when Franklin Delano Roosevelt was running for vice president in 1920, and he came to Fall River, and of course it was quite a big deal. And James was the one who introduced him at several of these events, and great picture in the Fall River Globe of him sitting to Franklin's left, right in the picture, and just the type of elbows these guys rubbed is pretty incredible over the years. So, great place to have this. It's a beautiful building, beautiful staff, wonderful. Thank you so much, and thank you to Sharon for
Yeah.
really preserving.
We're so happy
Our
that they
history.
wanted it. We offered it to Suffolk where he was and they didn't want it. And I thought, well.
Well, now
We'll
he's where
see.
he belongs.
Well, this is a nicer building than Suffolk anyway. I've toured around there. This is much more classy.
Well, thank you for thinking
Yes.
of us.
Yes.
Yes, right.
And thank you everyone for coming to celebrate James' sort of homecoming back to the city that he really belongs to.
And thank for photographing this. I guess it might be written in the paper. I'm not sure, but thanks for following up. So,
He'll be remembered.
Yes. Yes, thank you.
yeah,
Thank you.
thank you, everybody.